Support for this podcast and the following message come from Whole Foods Market, where this week and every week they're having sales. So keep an eye out for the yellow signs, where you'll find the highest quality food at great prices. Visit WholeFoodsMarket.com to see this week's specials.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says it's too early to determine specifically whether last night's explosion in the city was a terrorist incident. However, he does say it was no accident.
The early indications, the initial indications, is this was an intentional act. We're going to have a lot more to say in the coming hours as we have more detailed analysis. But we believe at this point in time this was an intentional act.
29 people were injured by the blast that went off in Manhattan's Chelsea neighborhood. A second suspicious device was safely removed. The New York Times and other media outlets quoting law enforcement officials that it was a pressure cooker attached to wiring in a cell phone. The war in Syria, the subject of an emergency UN Security Council meeting last night. Russia called for the meeting after reports of a U.S.-led airstrike that may have struck Syrian government troops. Russia's UN ambassador, Vitaly Churkin, says the strike has put a very big question mark over the future of the ceasefire agreement.
In all my years in international life, I've never seen, which is over 40 years, I've never seen such an extraordinary display of American heavy-handedness as we're witnessing today.
Churkin also said he was appalled by the remarks of Samantha Power, the U.S. ambassador to the UN. During last night's meeting, she chastised Russia for calling that meeting and called on Moscow to focus on implementing the ceasefire deal. She said the U.S. is investigating the airstrike. The U.S. military relayed its regret for what it described as the unintentional loss of life. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump made a brief appearance in Colorado Springs last night, sticking to his usual points and repeating his appeal to black voters.
To the African Americans living in those communities, I say, vote for Donald Trump. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? I will fix it.
President Obama and Hillary Clinton both addressed the Congressional Black Caucus last night. Both mentioned Donald Trump's acknowledgement that Obama was born in the United States. NPR's Mara Liasson reports.
Hillary Clinton addressed President Obama in her speech, saying, "Not only do we know you are an American, we know you are a great American." And President Obama joked about the whole thing.
I am so relieved that the whole birther thing is over. I mean, ISIL, North Korea, poverty, climate change, none of those things weighed on my mind like the validity of my birth certificate.
Donald Trump had pushed the false charge that President Obama was not born in the U.S. for 5 years. On Friday, he announced that, yes, the president was born in the United States, and then he falsely accused Hillary Clinton of starting the whole controversy. Mara Liasson, NPR News.
And you're listening to NPR News. A deadly attack today in Indian-controlled Kashmir. 17 Indian soldiers reported dead after militants armed with guns and grenades attacked their headquarters near the line of control dividing Kashmir between India and Pakistan. 4 attackers were killed in a gunfight that lasted several hours. Kashmir is claimed by both India and Pakistan, which denies any involvement in today's attack. A moment of silence expected during today's closing ceremony at the Paralympics in Rio de Janeiro. A cyclist competing for Iran died in a road race this weekend, crashing while descending a steep hill. An investigation into the accident has been launched in the athlete's village. The Iranian flag has been lowered to half-mast. The Environmental Protection Agency says that the country's most widely used weed killer probably does not cause cancer. NPR's Dan Charles reports the chemical has been under intense scrutiny.
Several different groups of cancer experts have been examining the cancer-causing potential of glyphosate, also known by its trade name Roundup. They've reviewed laboratory studies as well as health records from farm workers. Last year, scientists working for the World Health Organization decided that glyphosate probably is carcinogenic. But the European Food Safety Agency and regulators in Germany and Canada concluded that it probably is not. Now the EPA, in a 200-page paper, has decided that glyphosate is not likely to cause cancer in humans. Outside scientists will review the report. Eventually, the EPA will decide whether farmers can keep using the chemical. Dan Charles, NPR News.
And I'm Giles Snyder in Washington.